Imagine if life was a game, a complex, unpredictable game that threw challenges, obstacles, and unexpected setbacks your way, all designed to make you stronger. But here's the thing, this game comes with one rule that can make or break your experience. That rule is to recognize that every feeling, every challenge, and every hardship is part of the journey, not a measure of your worth or potential. Negative feelings, while heavy and at times overwhelming, are like checkpoints, signals telling us we've hit a part of the game that requires attention and growth. Understanding life as a game can completely transform the way we approach our most difficult moments. Imagine seeing every obstacle, every negative feeling, not as something meant to stop you, but as something designed to strengthen you. Life's game has levels, each one bringing new experiences and challenges. With every level, we get an opportunity to understand more about ourselves, to confront weaknesses, and to unlock strengths we may have never known existed. When we begin to approach life with this mindset, we see that negative feelings are just one part of a larger picture, a picture meant to lead us to deeper understanding and resilience. Consider that any game worth playing has setbacks, twists, and unexpected challenges. In life, negative emotions are a lot like those tough levels or tricky opponents. They're part of the landscape there to test our abilities and resilience. But instead of resisting or fearing these emotions, we can embrace them as a necessary part of the journey. After all, what kind of game would it be if it was easy, if it didn't ask something deeper of us? Life, like any great challenge, asks us to step up, to move through discomfort, and to see each moment, even the painful ones, as an invitation to grow stronger and wiser. When we understand that the game is meant to evolve us, we stop taking every setback personally. We start to realize that not every loss is a failure, and not every moment of sadness is a sign of defeat. Negative feelings are part of the process, just like every difficult level in a game is a part of moving forward. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that life is unfair, or that we're being punished when things don't go our way. But if we step back and understand the game for what it is, a series of challenges meant to teach us, we can start to shift our relationship with negative emotions. We can start to see them as indicators of change, as signs that we're on the brink of something new. Negative feelings, when seen through this lens, become a tool. They show us areas where we may need healing, where we might benefit from making a shift in mindset or a change in direction. Imagine, for example, the feeling of disappointment. Instead of letting it take over, we can ask ourselves what it's teaching us. Is it pointing out something we need to let go of or something we need to work harder for? When we treat negative emotions as indicators rather than obstacles, they no longer have power over us. Instead, they guide us, offering clues about what needs attention and growth. Viewing life as a game also means recognizing that each person has their own path, their own levels to work through. No two games are exactly alike. Your path may bring unique challenges, but it will also bring unique rewards. The feelings you experience along the way, frustration, loneliness, self-doubt, are all common themes in the game of life. When we understand that we're not alone in facing these emotions, that everyone around us is navigating their own levels, we can approach our journey with a bit more patience and compassion. Every negative emotion becomes part of a shared experience, and that awareness alone can make us feel less isolated, more connected to others. Understanding the game is also about recognizing our power within it. We may not control every situation, but we have the ability to control our perspective. Negative feelings don't have to derail us. They don't have to be the villains in our story. Instead, they can be the very elements that sharpen us, that teach us courage and self-belief. Like in any game, we have to choose our responses to build our skills and to keep going, even when the path feels difficult. Negative feelings may feel overwhelming, but when we understand that they're temporary, that they're part of a greater game, we can move through them with more grace. Imagine the power in not being afraid of failure or setbacks. The more we see life as a game, the more we recognize that failure is simply feedback, a sign that we're pushing boundaries and taking steps forward. Negative feelings can actually signal that we're getting closer to a breakthrough, that we're challenging ourselves to reach new levels. Just like players in a game learn from every mistake, we too can learn from every disappointment or moment of doubt. This isn't about ignoring our emotions, it's about welcoming them as part of our journey and using them to fuel our growth. When we embrace life as a game, we also discover a sense of freedom. We're no longer burdened by the need for everything to be perfect. We recognize that we'll encounter difficult emotions, and instead of running from them, we face them, knowing they're part of the process. In a game, we wouldn't expect to win every time without any challenges. Life is no different. Negative feelings are like the obstacles we face along the way, but they're not there to stop us. They're there to help us sharpen our skills, to become more resilient, and to develop a deeper understanding of who we are. In this game, every level brings new insights, and every feeling, no matter how hard, is an invitation to grow. We begin to see our journey not as a series of endless struggles, but as a series of steps toward becoming our best selves. With each negative feeling we overcome, we step further into our power, learning more about our strength and resilience, and discovering that yes, we are built to play and win this game called life. Detaching from temporary emotions is one of the most empowering practices we can cultivate. Emotions come and go, constantly shifting based on our surroundings, interactions, and even the stories we tell ourselves. But so often we cling to these feelings, believing they define us. In reality, emotions are like waves. They rise, peak, and inevitably fall. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing our feelings. Instead, it's about recognizing them for what they are: temporary experiences that don't need to control our actions, decisions, or sense of self-worth. Imagine watching your emotions as if they were clouds moving across the sky. Some are light and fluffy, bringing feelings of joy and calm, while others are heavy, stormy, and full of unresolved tension. Yet none of these clouds stay forever. By learning to observe our emotions without getting caught up in them, we start to understand that we are not our feelings. We're the sky, the constant, expansive presence that remains steady, no matter what kind of clouds pass through. Detaching in this way allows us to remain grounded, to witness our emotions without becoming consumed by them. Detachment doesn't mean a lack of feeling, it's a way of developing emotional intelligence. When we can separate ourselves from our immediate emotional responses, we give ourselves the space to think clearly and respond with intention. Emotions are like messengers, bringing signals about our needs, desires, and boundaries. But if we react to every emotional impulse, we lose sight of the bigger picture. Detachment gives us a chance to listen to these messages without being overwhelmed by them. It's like being able to step back and see the forest instead of getting lost in the trees, allowing us to understand what's really going on. In moments of intense emotion, it can feel like the feeling will last forever. Think about moments of anger, sadness, or frustration. In those moments, the emotion feels so big, so all-consuming, that it's hard to imagine a reality outside of it. But these feelings always pass. The key to detachment is remembering that no matter how powerful an emotion may feel, it's not permanent. It's like weather constantly changing, never still. When we remind ourselves of this truth, we start to find peace in the midst of even the most challenging emotions, knowing they too will move on. Detaching from temporary emotions also opens us up to a greater sense of stability and peace. Without detachment, our emotions become like roller coasters, taking us up and down, constantly dictating our mood and actions. But with detachment, we create a steady foundation, a grounded state of mind that isn't easily shaken by every twist and turn. We can still feel the highs and lows, but we're no longer at the mercy of every wave. Instead, we ride the waves, maintaining a sense of inner calm, even when things feel turbulent. This doesn't make us immune to emotions, it makes us better equipped to handle them. The practice of detachment allows us to cultivate healthier relationships as well. When we detach from temporary emotions, we become less reactive, less likely to say or do things we might regret later. We're able to approach situations with patience, compassion, and understanding instead of being driven by anger, jealousy, or insecurity. This creates a space for honest, open communication and builds trust as people know they can rely on us to be stable and understanding. Detachment doesn't make us indifferent, it makes us more intentional, able to respond rather than react to the people and situations around us. In learning to detach from temporary emotions, we also become more resilient. Life will always bring challenges, disappointments, and difficult feelings, but by developing this skill, we equip ourselves with a mental toolkit to handle whatever comes our way. We begin to understand that no emotion has the power to define or limit us. Every feeling, no matter how strong, is simply a part of our experience, not the whole of who we are. By practicing detachment, we learn to hold on to our center to keep moving forward, even when the emotional storms feel intense. There's also a sense of freedom that comes with detachment. When we're not attached to every feeling, we're less likely to get caught in cycles of overthinking or self-doubt. We're able to make decisions based on our values and goals rather than the emotions of the moment. This freedom gives us the clarity to focus on what truly matters to us, to act in alignment with our deeper purpose, rather than reacting to fleeting feelings. When we're free from emotional attachments, we can live more fully with a sense of ease and openness that allows us to appreciate the richness of life without being held back by every emotional wave. Detaching from temporary emotions ultimately empowers us to experience life in a fuller, richer way. We become less afraid of our emotions, more willing to experience them without judgment or fear. They're no longer something to run from, but something to observe, understand, and learn from. By practicing detachment, we create an inner landscape where we can welcome each feeling as it comes, knowing it's only visiting, never staying. This creates space for joy, love, and growth, and reminds us that we are always capable of moving through any emotion that arises. Building emotional resilience is one of the most valuable skills we can develop in life. It's the ability to bounce back from challenges, to rise stronger after setbacks, and to face difficulties without being overwhelmed by them. Resilience doesn't mean that we don't feel pain or stress, but rather that we have the inner strength to handle these experiences and continue forward. Life will inevitably bring moments of difficulty, but when we cultivate resilience, we gain the power to move through them without losing ourselves in the process. Emotional resilience is like a muscle, one that grows stronger each time we practice it, each time we choose to face challenges rather than avoid them. One of the foundational steps in building resilience is to reframe our perspective on adversity. Instead of seeing challenges as punishments or signs of failure, we can view them as opportunities for growth and learning. Every time we face a difficult situation, we're given a chance to deepen our understanding, to develop new skills, and to build greater inner strength. This shift in perspective helps us to stay grounded even in tough times, because we start to see each challenge as a building block in our journey rather than a roadblock. By embracing this outlook, we begin to approach life with a sense of curiosity and openness, ready to learn from every experience. Developing resilience also requires us to build self-awareness. Emotional resilience doesn't mean pushing through challenges without pausing to reflect on how we feel. It means knowing ourselves deeply and recognizing our emotional triggers and responses. When we become more aware of our feelings, we gain insight into how we react to different situations, and we can make more conscious choices about how to respond. Self-awareness allows us to observe our emotions without being consumed by them, which is essential in building resilience. It gives us the clarity to understand what we need, how we can cope, and what steps we might take to move forward in a healthy and productive way. Another key aspect of resilience is learning how to manage stress effectively. Stress is a natural part of life, but if left unmanaged, it can wear down our emotional resilience. Developing healthy coping mechanisms such as mindfulness, exercise, journaling, or talking with supportive friends can help us process stress without letting it take over. These practices create space for us to breathe, to recenter, and to regain perspective when life feels overwhelming. Managing stress is not about avoiding it, but about equipping ourselves with the tools to navigate through it in a way that supports our well-being. Each time we manage stress effectively, we reinforce our resilience, proving to ourselves that we can handle whatever comes our way. Building resilience also means cultivating a mindset of self-compassion. When we face setbacks or failures, it's easy to become self-critical, to question our worth, or to believe that we're not capable enough. But self-compassion allows us to treat ourselves with kindness, to acknowledge our struggles without judgment. By extending compassion to ourselves, we build an inner environment of support, one that encourages us to keep going, even when things are tough. This self-compassion becomes the foundation of resilience, reminding us that it's okay to struggle, that it's part of the process, and that we're worthy of love and understanding no matter what challenges we face. Resilience is also strengthened by cultivating positive relationships. Having a support network, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or community members, gives us a foundation to lean on in difficult times. Emotional resilience isn't about going through challenges alone. It's about knowing when to reach out for support, when to lean on those who care about us. Positive relationships give us a sense of belonging and remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. These connections provide comfort, guidance, and encouragement, helping us stay grounded when we feel unsteady and reinforcing our belief in our ability to overcome. Another powerful element of resilience is a sense of purpose. When we have a strong sense of purpose, whether it's a goal, a passion, or a commitment to something greater than ourselves, we're more likely to stay motivated through difficult times. Purpose gives us a reason to keep going, even when the journey feels challenging. It helps us focus on the bigger picture and reminds us that every obstacle is just one step on the path to achieving something meaningful. By nurturing our sense of purpose, we build resilience because we know that the struggles we face are ultimately contributing to something important. This sense of direction and meaning keeps us grounded, reminding us why we keep moving forward. Resilience is also about learning from our experiences. Each time we face a setback and find a way to overcome it, we gain valuable lessons. These lessons become part of our inner strength, equipping us with insights that we can draw on in future challenges. Building resilience means reflecting on our experiences and using what we learn to grow stronger. This ongoing process of growth and learning allows us to face each new challenge with greater confidence and wisdom. We realize that every difficulty we overcome becomes a part of who we are, shaping us into more capable, resilient individuals, ready to take on whatever comes next. Finding the lesson in each experience is one of the most transformative approaches we can adopt in life. It allows us to turn even the most challenging moments into valuable insights, helping us grow and evolve with each step forward. Instead of viewing difficulties as unfair or unnecessary, we can choose to see them as opportunities for self-discovery and strength building. Life's most impactful lessons often come from the hardest experiences, those moments that push us beyond our comfort zone and make us question our beliefs, our choices, and even our identity. When we look for the lesson in every situation, we begin to see that life isn't happening to us but unfolding for us, guiding us toward deeper wisdom and understanding. This mindset of finding the lesson gives us the ability to remain open and curious even when things don't go as planned. It requires humility and the willingness to recognize that there's always something to learn, even if the lesson isn't immediately obvious. When we approach life with this sense of openness, setbacks and disappointments become stepping stones, each one adding to our knowledge and growth. This perspective doesn't mean we ignore or downplay the pain that comes with challenges, but it does give us a sense of purpose in the midst of that pain. It allows us to turn hardship into insight, to take something meaningful from every experience, no matter how difficult. Finding the lesson also encourages us to reflect deeply on our actions, thoughts, and emotions. Each experience offers a mirror that reflects parts of ourselves we may not have noticed before. When we encounter conflict, for instance, it may reveal areas where we need to set clearer boundaries, develop patience, or practice forgiveness. When we face failure, it might teach us humility, perseverance, or the importance of preparation. Every experience, whether positive or negative, gives us a glimpse into who we are, highlighting both our strengths and our areas for growth. By reflecting on these insights, we begin to better understand ourselves and create a foundation for meaningful personal development. Often, the lessons we find are about resilience and adaptability. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and the ability to adjust and adapt is essential. Challenges teach us flexibility, showing us that we are capable of shifting our mindset, changing our approach, or trying again in a different way. In every setback, there's a hidden lesson about perseverance, about the importance of staying open to new possibilities, even when our initial plan falls apart. When we learn to see change and uncertainty as teachers rather than threats, we become more resilient, more capable of handling whatever comes our way. This adaptability becomes a strength that supports us through every phase of life. Sometimes the lesson is about patience and timing. We often want results quickly, but life operates on its own timeline. Setbacks can be a reminder that some things take time, that growth and transformation are gradual processes. There's a lesson in learning to trust the timing of our journey, in realizing that just because something isn't happening now doesn't mean it won't happen later. Delays and disappointments can teach us patience, showing us that waiting doesn't mean we're failing. Instead, it's an invitation to deepen our faith in the process, to stay committed to our goals while allowing life to unfold in its own way. Other times, the lesson is about gratitude. It's easy to take things for granted when life is going smoothly, but challenges often remind us of what truly matters. When we go through hardship, we're given a chance to reflect on the good in our lives, to appreciate the small blessings and the people who support us. Hardships bring clarity, helping us focus on the essentials and recognize the value of simple joys. By finding gratitude in the midst of difficulty, we gain a new perspective, one that allows us to see life's richness and beauty even during challenging times. This gratitude becomes a grounding force, keeping us connected to what's meaningful and helping us find strength in the little things. Learning from life's experiences also deepens our empathy. When we go through tough times, we gain a greater understanding of what others might be experiencing. Our struggles make us more compassionate, more willing to lend a helping hand or offer a listening ear to someone else who's facing difficulty. The lesson here is about connection and shared humanity, realizing that we're not alone in our challenges and that everyone at some point goes through hard times. This empathy not only enriches our relationships, but also creates a sense of community, reminding us that we're all in this journey together, supporting and learning from one another. Finding the lesson helps us let go of the need for perfection. So often, we believe we must have it all figured out, that making mistakes or facing setbacks is a sign of weakness or failure. But when we view each experience as a lesson, we start to understand that life is about growth, not perfection. Mistakes become part of the journey, each one teaching us something valuable that we couldn't learn any other way. Embracing imperfection allows us to move forward with confidence, knowing that every experience, even the less than perfect ones, is contributing to our evolution, helping us become more resilient, wise, and self-aware. Practicing self-compassion is one of the most powerful ways to foster inner strength and well-being. It's the act of treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a loved one facing difficulty. Self-compassion allows us to embrace our imperfections, to acknowledge our struggles without judgment, and to extend forgiveness to ourselves when we fall short. In a world that often emphasizes self-criticism and perfection, practicing self-compassion offers a new path, one that nurtures our mental and emotional health, building a foundation of gentleness and resilience from within. When we practice self-compassion, we learn to create a safe space within ourselves, one where we can grow and heal at our own pace. At its core, self-compassion is about recognizing our shared humanity. Every person faces struggles, makes mistakes, and experiences moments of self-doubt. When we remember that we're not alone in our experiences, we can ease the pressure to be perfect or to have all the answers. Self-compassion invites us to see ourselves as part of a larger human experience, to realize that imperfection is not only normal but expected. This perspective shifts us away from feelings of isolation and inadequacy, helping us understand that our challenges are part of a universal experience. By practicing self-compassion, we come to accept our place in the shared journey of growth, learning to support ourselves with patience rather than criticism. One of the key elements of self-compassion is learning to silence the inner critic. For many of us, that critic's voice is harsh, quick to highlight our shortcomings, and relentless in its expectations. But self-compassion asks us to replace that voice with one that's gentle and understanding. Instead of criticizing ourselves when we make mistakes, self-compassion encourages us to ask what we need, to offer ourselves words of encouragement and forgiveness. Learning to quiet the inner critic isn't about ignoring our flaws, but about understanding that criticism isn't the only path to growth. By choosing a kinder inner voice, we create a mental environment that supports our growth rather than undermining it. Self-compassion also allows us to acknowledge our emotions without judgment. When we're going through a tough time, it's natural to want to push difficult feelings away, to avoid sadness, anger, or frustration. But self-compassion invites us to sit with these emotions, to understand them rather than run from them. Embracing our feelings doesn't mean we let them define us. It means we honor the fact that all emotions are part of the human experience. Self-compassionate people learn to accept their emotions, recognizing that feelings come and go, and that experiencing them is part of a healthy, balanced life. This acceptance of our emotional world fosters resilience, allowing us to move through challenges with greater self-awareness and understanding. Practicing self-compassion also builds resilience by helping us see failure as part of the learning process. When we make mistakes, it's easy to feel disappointed, embarrassed, or even ashamed. But self-compassion reminds us that mistakes are inevitable and that they don't diminish our worth. Instead of judging ourselves harshly, we can choose to see every mistake as a stepping stone, a part of our growth journey. This shift in perspective allows us to approach life with curiosity and courage, knowing that setbacks are opportunities to learn rather than reasons to criticize ourselves. By embracing failure with self-compassion, we give ourselves permission to take risks, to try new things, and to keep growing without the fear of being judged. Self-compassion also teaches us the value of setting healthy boundaries. When we're self-compassionate, we recognize our own needs and respect our limitations. We no longer feel compelled to please everyone or to sacrifice our well-being for the sake of others. Instead, we understand that taking care of ourselves is not selfish but necessary for our own health and happiness. By setting boundaries, we give ourselves space to recharge and focus on what truly matters to us. Self-compassion helps us realize that our worth isn't determined by how much we do for others, but by how well we care for ourselves and honor our own needs. One of the beautiful effects of self-compassion is that it deepens our compassion for others. When we practice kindness toward ourselves, we become more understanding of others' struggles. We learn to approach people with empathy rather than judgment, to recognize that everyone is doing their best with the challenges they face. Self-compassionate individuals know that their own self-worth isn't diminished by offering kindness to others. Instead, it's enhanced by it. Practicing self-compassion creates a cycle of empathy that enriches our relationships and fosters a sense of connection with the people around us, reminding us that kindness is a gift we can give to ourselves and others alike. Self-compassion also helps us cultivate a positive inner dialogue, one that encourages rather than discourages. By being kind to ourselves, we begin to trust in our ability to handle life's ups and downs, to believe in our own resilience and worth. Instead of letting self-doubt control our decisions, we develop an inner voice that motivates us to pursue our dreams, knowing that we are capable and worthy. This positive self-talk doesn't mean we ignore our challenges, but that we choose to respond to them with a hopeful, supportive mindset. When we practice self-compassion consistently, we build a foundation of inner strength that guides us through even the most difficult situations. Ultimately, self-compassion allows us to build a healthy relationship with ourselves, one based on acceptance and love. It's a practice of recognizing our own value and nurturing it, of learning to celebrate our strengths and forgive our imperfections. When we practice self-compassion, we become our own source of support, creating a stable foundation of kindness that we can rely on in any situation. This relationship with ourselves is one of the most enduring and important relationships we'll ever have, one that impacts every area of our lives. By building this connection with ourselves, we create a life filled with patience, understanding, and a deep sense of peace, knowing that we are worthy of compassion every step of the way. Embracing gratitude and positivity is a practice that has the power to transform the way we experience life. When we focus on gratitude, we start to see the beauty in the small things, to appreciate the people and experiences that bring joy and meaning into our days. Gratitude helps us shift our perspective from what we lack to what we have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment within. It's about acknowledging the simple pleasures, the blessings we often overlook, and realizing that even in the midst of challenges, there's always something to be thankful for. This focus on gratitude sets the foundation for positivity, allowing us to approach each day with a hopeful, open heart. Practicing gratitude also invites us to be fully present in the moment. So often we get caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past, but gratitude brings us back to the here and now. When we take time to recognize the good in our lives, we ground ourselves in the present, fully engaging with the world around us. This mindfulness allows us to experience life more deeply, to notice the details we might otherwise miss. Whether it's the warmth of the sun, a smile from a stranger, or the joy of a shared moment with a friend, gratitude helps us appreciate life's richness as it unfolds. Gratitude also helps us cultivate resilience in the face of challenges. Life will always bring difficulties, but when we focus on the good, we build the strength to face adversity without being consumed by it. Gratitude reminds us that no matter how tough things get, there are still things to be thankful for, still moments of joy and hope to hold on to. This focus on positivity doesn't mean we ignore our struggles. It means we choose to see beyond them, to recognize that life is a blend of highs and lows. Gratitude gives us a balanced perspective, helping us to stay grounded and centered even in times of difficulty. Embracing gratitude also enhances our relationships. When we're grateful, we're more likely to appreciate the people in our lives, to see the good in them, and to let them know how much they mean to us. Gratitude allows us to approach our relationships with a sense of appreciation rather than expectation, to celebrate the support, kindness, and companionship others bring into our lives. Expressing gratitude deepens our connections, creating a positive cycle where kindness and appreciation flow freely. By focusing on what we value in others, we foster relationships built on respect, understanding, and shared joy, relationships that uplift and sustain us through all of life's seasons. Practicing gratitude also transforms the way we see ourselves. When we learn to appreciate the person we are, to recognize our strengths and celebrate our accomplishments, we build self-worth and confidence. Gratitude towards ourselves helps us acknowledge our journey, to see how far we've come, and to feel proud of the growth we've achieved. This self-appreciation isn't about ego or arrogance, it's about honoring the effort and resilience we bring to our lives. Gratitude for ourselves creates a foundation of positivity that supports us, helping us to face challenges with a sense of inner strength and self-assurance. Embracing positivity means choosing to focus on hope and possibility. Life is filled with uncertainty, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed by challenges or setbacks. But positivity invites us to look for the silver linings, to believe that better days are always ahead. It's about nurturing a mindset of hope even when things don't go as planned. Positivity is an act of courage, a choice to stay open to life's potential and to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than dead ends. This hopeful outlook doesn't mean we deny difficulties. It means we approach them with the belief that we have the inner strength to overcome, to adapt, and to find a way forward. Gratitude and positivity also encourage us to live with a sense of purpose. When we're grateful for what we have, we're more motivated to use our gifts, our time, and our energy in ways that add meaning to our lives. Positivity inspires us to pursue our dreams, to take actions that align with our values, and to make choices that support our goals. When we approach life with gratitude and positivity, we feel a sense of responsibility to contribute, to share our blessings, and to leave a positive impact on the world around us. This purpose-driven perspective helps us create a life of fulfillment, one where every day holds meaning and every moment is a step toward a brighter future. Ultimately, embracing gratitude and positivity is a practice of self-love and self-care. It's about nurturing an outlook that supports our well-being, that helps us find joy and contentment regardless of external circumstances. By focusing on gratitude, we create an inner sanctuary of peace and happiness, a mindset that remains steady even when life gets challenging. Positivity becomes a source of light, a reminder that there is beauty in every experience and that we have the power to shape our reality through the way we choose to see it. Gratitude and positivity are gifts we give to ourselves, tools that allow us to create a life filled with purpose, resilience, and unwavering joy.